I always thought cheating was the worst kind of betrayal, until I caught my wife and my own father sneaking out of a hotel together. Let me rewind. I'm 32 now, but I met Laura when I was 24. She was funny, smart, gorgeous, the kind of girl who turned heads at every bar we walked into. We got married 2 years later, and for a while I thought life couldn't get better. Steady job, decent house, and what I thought was a solid relationship. My dad, meanwhile, was always around. Too much, honestly. But I chalked it up to him being lonely since Mom passed away. Now my dad's always been charming. The life of every room. He could sell you your own shoes. Growing up, I saw the way women fawned over him, even when he was married. He was the kind of guy who never really grew out of his bachelor persona, even in his 50s, but I never, ever thought he'd pull this. The first red flag came during my birthday party last year. My dad made a toast, drunk of course, and kept calling Laura the real gift, and the reason I got so lucky in life. Harmless maybe, if he didn't stare directly at her the whole time while she blushed like a schoolgirl. I noticed it, but I brushed it off. I mean, who wants to believe that their wife and dad are flirting? Then came the late-night texts. I glanced at Laura's phone once while she was in the shower and saw D. I thought maybe it was her friend Danielle. The message just said, "Last night was perfect." My gut told me otherwise. That night, I couldn't sleep. Something was off. I started paying attention, how often she'd visit his house without me, how they'd text and suddenly stop when I walked in the room, how she started dressing up more on errand days. I had to know. So I did the one thing I swore I'd never do. I followed her. She said she was going to get a massage. Instead, she pulled into a hotel downtown. 10 minutes later, my dad's truck pulled up. I sat there in my car, heart racing, stomach doing flips. I waited a full hour before they came back out. My wife's hair was messy. My dad had that smug grin he always wore after winning at poker. It hit me like a truck. They didn't even try to hide it. I didn't confront them right away. I wanted them to feel safe, to think they were clever. I wanted revenge, not drama. I played the part. Doting husband, clueless son. But behind the scenes, I was documenting everything. I installed a voice recorder in Laura's car. Caught them talking about how thrilling it was to sneak around. My dad said he felt alive again, and that he hadn't felt this way since before my mom passed. That one stung. I found photos on her iCloud, screenshots she must have forgotten to delete. Some of them of the two of them in bed. She wore the necklace. I got her on our anniversary. I made backups, sent them to a burner email I created just for this, and then I waited. I planned. See, my dad owns a small construction business, one I helped run for years. I knew his books were a mess, knew he was writing off personal expenses as business ones. I'd warned him before, but he never listened. Thought he was untouchable. So I made a quiet call to a buddy who works in tax enforcement. At the same time, I started draining joint accounts Laura and I had, under the guise of investing. Bought a condo in my name. Paid off my truck. Set up a separate account she couldn't access. 2 months later, the trap was set. I started by confronting Laura, calmly. Sat her down, slid a manila envelope across the table, and said, "You left your heart in a hotel room. Thought I'd return the favor." She flipped through the photos and froze. No denial, no excuses, just silence. Then came the tears. "You don't understand. He needed someone. He was so lost after your mom." "Save it," I said. "You don't sleep with someone's father because you feel bad for them." I told her I wanted a divorce, and that I'd be taking everything, because I had the receipts. Literal and figurative. She begged me not to tell my dad, which told me she still thought she could play both sides. Too late. That night, I drove to my dad's house. He was grilling steaks like nothing had happened. Laura's car was in the driveway. I dropped a USB on his patio table and told him to check his email. He opened the folder titled Father of the Year and turned white. Videos, audio, photos. He didn't say a word, just stared at the screen. Then I told him what else was coming. The IRS would be auditing him soon. His bank accounts might get frozen. And if he wanted to make a scene, I had everything lined up to press charges for financial fraud and wiretapping. He'd emailed some invoices to Laura's business account. Idiot. I told him to enjoy what little he had left, because I was coming for the rest. Then I walked away. Neither of them said a word. After dropping that bomb on my dad's patio and walking away, I expected fireworks. Screaming. Denial. maybe even some half-baked attempt at saving face. Instead, nothing. Which, honestly, was even better. I went no contact with both of them immediately. Changed my number, locked down all my socials, got a new apartment closer to work. My lawyer moved fast with the divorce papers. I filed under adultery, with all the evidence prepackaged, in a nice little folder, labeled Exhibit, Trash Fire. Laura didn't even contest it. She tried calling me once from a blocked number, left a voicemail sobbing about how she didn't mean for this to happen, and how she just wanted to feel desired again. Barf. Anyway, the legal stuff moved quickly. Turns out, when you're the one with the proof, and your spouse cheated with your dad, judges don't really take kindly to that. She walked away with nothing but her clothes and a couple of IKEA pans. The condo? Mine. The car? Also mine. And best part? I gotta keep the dog, Max. She cried more about losing him than the marriage. Figures. Now, my dad, his fall was messier. The IRS showed up at his office 3 weeks after our little patio showdown. Turns out that calling my tax enforcement buddy wasn't just therapeutic, it was wildly effective. They audited 5 years of his business expenses. That trip to Cabo labeled as a, quote, construction site evaluation? Not so much. Long story short, he got hit with fines. Big ones. His accounts got frozen during the investigation, and suppliers pulled out once word got around. Reputation in a small city? Gone. Like smoke. His business didn't just slump. It cratered. Within a month, he'd laid off half his crew. Within 3 months, he shut the whole thing down. And where was Laura in all this? Living in the ashes. Apparently, she moved in with him. Into my childhood home, no less. Talk about poetic. I got texts from an old neighbor saying she'd seen them arguing in the driveway. Screaming matches. Throwing things. There's even a rumor someone called the cops during one of their romantic evenings because it got so heated. I can't lie. I reread those messages with a cold beer in hand and a smug smile on my face. Karma tastes like victory. But here's the kicker. Laura thought she could fix it. She still tried spinning it. My cousin ran into her at the grocery store and she told him, "It just kind of happened. We connected emotionally first." Sure. Just like you connect to a power outlet. Reckless and sparky, with a high chance of burning the house down. Meanwhile, I was thriving. Got a promotion at work. Started hitting the gym again. Went on a couple dates. Nothing serious yet. Still unlearning the trauma of falling for a cheater. My therapist said I was processing the betrayal in a shockingly healthy way, which honestly just means I didn't key anyone's car or get blackout drunk. Growth. Then, out of nowhere, David, my dad's business partner's son, texts me. "You won't believe this. Laura's trying to sue your dad." Apparently she figured, now that the love affair was public and my dad's broke, she needed an exit plan. She accused him of coercion. Claimed he emotionally manipulated her into the affair. My first reaction was, good, let them eat each other alive. But what shocked me was how my dad responded. He called me. I let it go to voicemail, but man, it was pathetic. "I need your help. I was wrong. I lost everything. You were right about her." I played that message on loop for a week, then deleted it. There was a time when I would have given anything for my dad to admit he screwed up. To say he was sorry for the way he treated me, not just during the affair, but for all the years before that, being a loud, overbearing, dismissive jackass. But now? I didn't need it. I'd won. He lost his business, his money, and his standing in the community. She lost her marriage, her reputation, and her sugar daddy. And me? I walked away clean. Last I heard, my dad's renting a rundown duplex on the edge of town, trying to do handyman work to pay off his back taxes. Laura's not with him anymore. Shocking, I know. She apparently moved to her sister's place 2 states away and is finding herself. Translation: couch surfing and swiping right on the next disaster. And me? I'm happy. I've learned that revenge doesn't have to be flashy or dramatic. It can be quiet, calculated, long game stuff. You let people think they're winning, let them get comfortable in their deceit. And then you take the rug out from under them, let them fall. I didn't raise my voice. Didn't throw punches. I just made sure the truth caught up with them. And when it did, I was already walking away. Where are they now? 1 year later, Laura. After her whirlwind affair with her husband's father and the subsequent fallout, Laura's life took a nosedive. Once living in a nice home, married to a stable guy, she now bounces between low-rent apartments and her sister's guest room. She tried to launch an empowerment blog about healing after betrayal, but forgot to mention she was the betrayer. It flopped. She's currently working part-time at a boutique and occasionally slides into her ex's DMs after a glass of wine. Those go unanswered. Most recent update. She changed her last name on Facebook again. No one's sure why. Dad, aka the homewrecker. Once a respected small business owner, he's now a freelance handyman who mostly does odd jobs for cash. After the IRS penalties, he sold his house to cover legal fees. He now rents a basement unit and tells anyone who will listen that he got played by a younger woman. That woman, by the way, left him 3 months after his business tanked. He tried reaching out to his son once. Got blocked. Most recent update. Got into a Facebook argument with someone over loyalty and hasn't been invited to a family barbecue since. The narrator, aka me. I'm doing alright. New apartment. New job. New mindset. Therapy helped. The gym helped more. I've gone on a few decent dates, but mostly I'm enjoying the peace. No more chaos. No more lies. Just me, Max the dog, and the kind of silence that comes when nobody's lying to your face while sleeping with your dad. I don't stalk their socials anymore. I don't need to. Every time I sip coffee in my quiet place, every time I check my bank account and see stability, every time Max curls up beside me while I watch something dumb and relaxing. I remember. I won. Most recent update. I'm building a life they'll never be part of. And honestly, that's the real revenge.